This is the Podcastaclysm, the only podcast which we started just to cover the Cataclysm arc of Fire Force.
Well, the most part, yes.
I mean, it's for Fire Force in general, but specifically the Cataclysm.
It's pretty funky.
Just that whole event.
It's fairly funky.
Would you call it a saga or an event or an arc?
It's an arc.
It's definitely an arc with smaller arcs in it.
So I presume I guess a saga.
Yeah, saga.
Is a
Let's
way to
go
pronounce
forward
it.
calling it the Cataclysm Saga.
Okay. Spoilers, by the way.
Oh yeah, spoilers. Spoilers. If you're not caught up with the manga, get the fuck out. Leave. This shit's
funny.
crazy. I'd say this is probably some of the craziest shit I've ever seen reading manga and being an anime fan in general for so long.
It's quite interesting how it's going.
Okubo's an interesting guy.
Astushi Ookubo is a very well-rounded individual.
Yeah, well-rounded. I wouldn't put it that way. You've got to be at least a little insane to do what he's doing right now.
You know.
Let's start with our credentials. How long have you been reading Fire Force, Mike? Because I know you've been reading it longer than I have.
I've been reading it. I've started reading it since maybe around episode 10 to 15, whenever season 1 was being out. I began reading it and have been caught up. I have been a long time fan. Not long time per se, but I've been a fan of Ookubo's work for a while.
Soul Eater.
Soul Eater being one of my favorite mangas, period. I haven't read his first one. I have read a little bit of it, but from the concept of it, it's very, very Ookubo, as I'd like to say.
I think it's
in the concept.
B.ichi.
Yeah, B.ichi. And from what little I've read of it, seems pretty interesting in the concept.
It was canceled, unfortunately, but he did go on do Soul Eater, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, Soul Eater, really good. I think I finished reading it when I was in middle school.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, I think I finished reading it like in the middle of middle school is when I finished reading it. So it's been a while since I've first read it. However, I've definitely gone back and read it a couple of times because I just like it that much.
It's a really good series, yeah.
Very.
As for me, I started reading Fire Force right after the anime stopped airing, right after episode 24 of the first season. I went, read that manga, finished it, wrapped it up in got caught up in how many weeks? It was pretty fast, I think.
At least 2.
At least 2. Once I got caught up, I went back to watch Soul Eater, and then I read all of Soul Eater.
As per my request.
As per your request. I would have done it anyways, it's good. But this is going to have spoilers for all of Okubo's work. Just Soul Eater included, because shit's getting fucking wild.
And some theories of being made.
Theories will be made.
So I suppose we'll start off with the just going over overall Fire Force.
Yeah, let's go over overall Fire Force. Let's start small.
So, as we all know, Fire Force is a story about young Shinra Kusakabe, whatever.
He wants to be a hero.
He wants to be a hero. And to do so, he joins the Fire Force, which are like the military firemen. And to do so, they've got powers over fire. They fight fire with fire, which is quite funny, but it works.
Very, very haha funny.
Very haha funny. And there's a whole cast of characters that we all love.
We all love them.
Obi, old Captain Obi, Hinawa, Maki, Iris, Arthur, Tamaki, and amongst 8, also Licht and
Fun
Vulcan.
supporting cast as well.
Yeah, all the characters are very memorable and have one thing that Astushi Ookubo does very well is design. All of the designs are memorable,
Oh yeah,
and you'll always be able to look over and say, "Oh yeah, that's that good."
yeah.
Like,
It's very it's something that like it's like shown a lot in the first opening of Fire Force where they all just get silhouetted in that final bit, like with the
hmm
red background and the black. It's really good.
everyone is unique and has their own unique and like distinct design that you like, and like have also has a bit of a theme going for all of them. Like Shinra usually being depicted as a devil, Arthur a knight, like Obi a paladin,
Maki a
Maki a
witch.
witch, and so on.
He now has gun.
Hinawa has gun. He's a gun guy.
He's the most powerful because he has a gun.
Yeah,
Tamaki cat, obviously.
yeah. Iris none.
Okubo's a very stylish person. A lot his works are very stylish.
Mm-hmm. Very
Uh,
stylized.
he also has a lot of horror in there. You know, just
He
casually.
he is a very he's an oddly well-rounded
He's
mangaka.
he's well rounded in a lot of genres.
Mm-hmm. He does.
Fire Force has a lot less horror than Soul Eater did, but it's still in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Specifically the arc, it was called the second Nether arc or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Nether return arc, where he just really
He just fucking went
up
off the rails.
he upped the ante and did stuff Fire Force has and did some gore that Fire Force has never seen before. Obviously, it's nowhere
A man's
near
head got cut off from it, like his, like where his mouth
head,
is.
yeah, where his mouth is. And that man was, and he was looking cool. He was looking like
He's
a really cool
cool as hell.
character, and
He
then
was in the opening.
he was in the opening.
That's still the funniest shit when you told me he was in the opening.
Yeah, it was like watching the season 2 opening. He's like, look, he's here,
He's
he's
there.
here.
There he is.
It's the guy that got jobbed 5 minutes after his introduction.
It's the guy who got jobbed by Pyramid Head Girl.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Very well rounded. He's good at making horror stuff. He's good at shonen. He's good at He's a very good artist.
He's
If you catch my drift.
I'd actually say
Really well.
that's one of his best parts, but I'd say that's probably one of the parts that like puts people off a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's
People don't like Tamaki.
he's not afraid to just fucking fan service it up.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He
He's
thinks it's
he's
funny.
he's com- he made Tamaki for a reason. He thought it was
He
funny.
thought it
He
was
thought it
funny,
was funny.
and he was right. It is funny.
It is funny.
It's
I don't
very
care.
funny.
It's understandable why people get mad at Tamaki and all that. I just think she's a funny character, and I don't think of her too seriously.
Very very funny. Funny. Very funny.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's okay because Soul Eater is one of the best manga I've seen with a female protagonist.
Uh-huh. Maka is a good female
Maka
protagonist.
is one of the best, yes. Although
She's a very well done female
you could argue
protagonist.
she gets outshined by her peers.
Oh yeah, she definitely does.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
definitely does.
see, Maka's a good female protagonist, but it's awkward that, the other dudes are
She is
kind
an
of better.
excellent female protagonist, but then Black Star and Death Decade are right there. It's like putting a really nice, beautiful piece of gold right in between two just shining giant diamonds.
Yeah, Like she's good, but let me tell you about those two.
Let me tell
It's
you about the
great.
time God fucking Black Star killed a god just because he could, just because he wanted to.
Yeah. What about the time Black Star? What about the time Kid unlocked his final form, his final Shinigami form, and Ashura was just like, "Whoo, you're pretty strong.
Fucking
You're like
whoa.
around as strong as Black Star right there."
Yeah, I'm flying Oscar. I thought Black Star was stronger.
Like
Oh,
you're
Asura,
just like,
we'll get to you, Asura.
Ashura, yeah,
Uh,
Asura.
we'll get to you.
Um, yeah, Fire Force is very good. It has its problems and its occasional pacing issues. It doesn't really bother me, but it's there.
I think for the most part, the only like real pacing issue I ever noticed was in that second Nether arc,
Yeah,
where it just went full horror and like you'd think things are gonna ramp up, but the next chapter, fucking Victor runs into Tamaki's ass.
yeah. He's like, oh, things are gonna get worse from here. And then he fucking like literally runs face first into cheeks.
Yeah, like the consequences of that aren't really brought up at all.
No, not a lot of things are brought up, which is
Are you gonna talk about Superfire?
concepts that aren't brought up. So there's a whole training arc uh for Shinra, Arthur, and Tamaki that's been animated. That's either been animated or is currently being. I think it's animated.
I think it's been animated.
I have not caught up with the anime, so I don't know where
The
they
anime
ended up season
ends
2 at.
at the second Nether arc.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Cuz it got to the training arc where Arthur and Shinra get super fire.
I've been too busy with the manga. I don't know either.
Yeah, I know this cuz I remember the two of them in Asakusa. Was that what it was called? And they were training, and I remember a clip of Tamaki and the two Fox girls. But yeah, the two of them unlock a skill, technique, transformation, whatever, called Super Fire, in which, according to Benny,
Our
that
guy Benny.
our boy,
Our boy.
that third generation fire users only use 30% of their fire normally. It's like the 10% of brain thing.
Yeah.
Um, and with super fire, they're able to access it 100% of their fire, which makes them stronger at the cost of a couple of things. Not at the cost of anything, but like you need to feel like a foreboding feeling of death over yourself. I think it was
Yeah, yeah.
what was needed, and
You
that was
need to be like near
essentially
death.
yeah, and that's what like essentially depicted as like the next big um
The
power
upgrade,
up
the power up.
the for the boys. Uh, but so Shinra and Arthur, they attain super fire. It is said that Arthur gets it. Um, and then the fight between Burns and Shinra happens where he pulls it out and he ends up winning thanks to it. Uh, but the issue with super fire is that Arthur gets into a really strong fight,
With
doesn't
Dragon.
use it.
Yeah.
He doesn't
I
use
think
it.
the reason he didn't use it against in his first fight with Dragon is because his sword was just like weak and shit, and it broke.
No, he didn't use it, period. It just broke because Dragon was that cool.
Well, yeah, but like the Dragon's cool.
And then they just never used it again.
Yeah, yeah. That's also from there we haven't seen it again.
From there, Superfire has not been mentioned, and I feel as though it should be,
Yeah,
because that's
maybe
kind of a power up. It also, yeah, you also have to come to like the thought of why doesn't like if Superfire exists, why doesn't everyone have it, you know?
it's like
Or
oh,
like
this is really good. You got to be really good to
like
get
why do like
this.
the why don't the mightiest third generations have it? Like Benny Maru doesn't use it,
I assume
or
Benny Mario does have it and just uses it on the reg because we see what he does later.
Yeah, true.
Like, I don't think we need to be explicitly told that Benimaru is definitely using Super Fire.
Yeah. It's just noticeable because Shinra's flames become blue.
Yeah, that one's a big one. Then again, it's not like we've
Yeah.
had Shinra doing a lot recently.
Shit, we'll
Yeah,
get to that.
we'll get to that.
So, all in all, other than like a couple of tiny little issues, Fire Force is really good.
Really good, really good, really good.
We quite like it.
Uh,
It's not one of my favorite mangas, not like Soul Eater is. However, Soul Eater does probably have some nostalgia value. But I still really, really like Soul Eater, or Fire Force, especially whenever I learned of it happening.
yeah,
Hearing of it as like oh, it's from the guy that made it's made by the guy that made Soul Eater. Dude, that's sick. I like that
that's
guy.
sick as
I
hell.
like
Holy shit!
Okubo.
I will
I like
say,
Okubo.
I will say that if Okubo manages to pull off this ending, I think this could easily go up there, like way up there in the ranks for manga,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
for
If he
sure.
could pull it off, which I do have faith in him doing it, because he was Okubo is definitely one of those mangakas that people know for Soul Eater.
Yeah, like Soul Eater is like super popular. It's very known.
Yeah. And especially whenever it ended, there was like a whole like 4 or 5 pages full of artwork, uh, full of artwork of like of other mangakas and Soul Eater of like a manga or like a maka standing next to Edward Elric and
Yeah,
all that.
it's already very rare for a manga to end, but when like
Yeah.
something ends and it's like as popular as Soul Eater was, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. And yeah, and so now he's coming across his second manga, which is perceived looking like it's coming to another end.
I'd say Fire
I
Force
think
is definitely more popular than Soul Eater was, but mostly just because like the community of
mm,
anime watchers is a lot bigger than it was then.
yeah, if the situations were switched, Soul Eater would be as big, if
Yes,
not bigger.
Okubo just
But
makes good
it's
stuff.
Okubo makes really good stuff.
It also helps that it's
Um,
animated by David Productions.
yeah, who are doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, who won't fuck up the anime adaptation?
Yeah, they won't
Looking at
fuck it
you.
up. Don't worry about it.
All right.
The Soul Eater anime is okay.
It's good right up until Medusa shows up to DWMA.
Then it's not that great,
Yeah,
but it's okay
but it's
because the manga is
the manga's
really,
good.
really
The manga's
good.
good. Just once that happens, go read the manga.
hmm So, Fire Force is really good. Now, anything we have to say about the overall of Fire Force?
Uh, the entire time, I'd say we are definitely building up to the Cataclysm the entire time. Like, when is the first time the Cataclysm is mentioned? I think it's in the arc where they go to that island, the Forbidden Island, where they meet the mole guy, and they meet the lady in black, who is one of the pillars. And yeah, I think she's the one who talks to Shinra about the Cataclysm.
Yeah, I think so.
But even until then, like the entire like conceit of the show and series is that the world ended once already, but we came back
hmm
from it, and like the world's gonna end again.
Yeah.
And
Um,
they got the big bad guys, White Clouds. They're gonna do it.
White Glads are gonna do it.
They're gonna do it.
Uh, there's a lot of stuff was happening, like just kind of in the behind the scenes. But now that we're in this Cataclysm saga, it's all kind of unfolding.
Oh yeah, right. Like whenever like a season 3 of Fire Force happens, that's when the weird shit starts happening.
Uh-huh. I'm very curious to see
Oh
anime
yeah, oh
onlys
yeah,
and other people's reactions to what
the
happening.
weird
What's
shit.
that? Yeah,
I think the first
it'll.
time something extremely explicitly weird happens is when Hamue is we cut the ham away, and she's like suffering because she feels all the feelings of humanity or whatever. And she gets contacted by
Evangelist.
the evangelist. Yes, she gets contacted by evangelist, and we see the evangelist for the first time. And it just fucking like zooms into his eye, and it's the fucking universe in there.
Yeah.
It's some weird shit.
Universe eye.
I think that's the first time things get explicitly weird.
When was that?
I'm not sure when it is, but I know it happens early, like soon. Like it would happen in season 3 early.
Yeah, I think that's like the first weird thing because I don't quite remember that scene. However, depending on whenever it was, the first thing that's like explicitly weird might be whenever whenever Shinra looks real life in the eyes,
Wait,
and is weirded the hell out.
that's later. Wait. All right, that's okay. That's when shit gets fucking really weird. All right.
Yeah.
No, we're just jumping in now. We're jumping in now. Shit gets fucking crazy when Shinra goes into like a fucking weird like nightmare scape for a bit, and like
Yeah.
he's fucking
It's
falling
like,
through modern day Tokyo.
I forget the events leading up to it.
Yeah, the events leading up to it where he got beat
Oh, I
up.
remember now.
Right?
I remember now. The pillars were first coming
Yeah,
up
the
again.
pillars. The pillars are
The
coming.
pillars, the pillars were rising from the ocean, and with each pillar came a giant shadow, or a giant infernal, needed to fight. Shinra goes to fight one of these infernals, and this is like the second or third pillar, probably.
Yeah.
I think it was the second pillar, if I'm not mistaken. The second pillar that Shinra goes to fight. He goes to fight it, and then all of a sudden, things get weird. And he's transported like a weird. He's Adala, is what he's transported to.
Adola, whatever.
And there he meets Inca, the fifth pillar. And she's just telling him, "All right, you and me, we're gonna go through this. We're gonna experience this weird. This is gonna be weird. Let's go."
Yeah.
And they go, and then
I
Shinra.
would like to mention a little bit about that. She says, I could see into the future. In the future, we're going to get married and have kids. And like, one, I do not support that. I'm not, I'm not
No.
in favor of that.
Is that?
She says that.
Yeah, no. If it's gotta be, gotta be Shinra and Iris. Come on.
It's Shinra and Iris, obviously, of course. Although there are things that could happen that might throw a wrench in that plan, but we'll talk about that.
Oh. Yeah, and she just goes, "All right, let's just go." And then stuff happens. They're in Adala for a bit, and then all of a sudden, Shinra is looking at life in real life, and like
He is
the way
like
Ookubo
he is
draws it.
straight up. That's not even. He didn't even draw it. Those are straight up real pictures of I think Shibuya.
Yeah, I think so. And just like the image. No, I think he did draw it because I remember the image of that one chick, the girl, whatever, looking like down. It was like really freaky looking. The way it was like, the way it looks. And like Shinra, like in manga, we see real people, real Shibuya, real life right there.
real life Shibuya City.
And it says that this is life before the Cataclysm. So that implies the Cataclysm happened and everything became anime.
That is actually my favorite shit. That the apocalypse that ended the world was anime.
Yeah. Anime ended the world and now that's the life that they're living
It's
in.
the weirdest shit.
Like real life was a thing and then it exploded and now we have anime, boys.
No, everything's anime, and now the cataclysm's gonna happen again, and everything's gonna turn back to real life or something else in between.
We're gonna Are we gonna go back to monkey? I don't
We're
know.
gonna like it's gonna go back to real life, or it's gonna be something else in between. I think it's gonna be something else in between, some freaky Yokobo shit probably.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. And from there is a time skip, like a 5 month time
It's a
skip.
couple months. It's a good chunk.
I think it's at most 5 months. And Shinra awakes to a TV telling him that the seventh pillar is happening, and everyone's telling him, "Yo, Shinra, what's up with you?" Oh, see, Shinra wakes up with like blonde hair, white hair. I
It's
don't
white
know what it
hair,
was.
white hair, white hair,
Yeah,
and he
which
looks
was
cool as hell.
yeah, which would imply some things, but it was just die.
It was
Just
just
wash
died.
it off.
Yeah, when that chapter came out, we were like, "Oh shit, his hair turned white." No, it was just die.
Yeah, and that was Okubo like tripping us, just like nope. He's just it's just die. Don't worry about it.
It's a bit of a
And
letdown, but it
everyone,
makes sense why that happens.
yeah, and everyone tells Shinra, "Yo, are you good? This is the first time you've acted normal. Like for the past 5 months, you've been kind of an asshole." And it turns out there's this whole thing that we should probably talk a little more about Dala,
Adole, yeah.
specifically doppelgangers.
Oh fucking Jesus! All right, so okay, so Adola is like this weird universe concept that's Adola
Like
is
hell,
kind
but
of
not.
it's it is the world which people who have seen it perceive as hell or the afterlife, and the evangelist controls it in some way. Uh, and something I'm not sure what it is about Adola which does it, but Adola brings about doppelgangers, like which are like what it is the you that people perceive you as.
Yeah, it's kind of like shadows in Persona.
Yeah, yeah, and the most whereas shadows are the what you
The
hide from
true you.
yourself, the true
Yeah,
you,
the
the
true
you
you.
hide from yourself, but over exaggerated. Doppelgangers are what everyone else sees you as. So for Shinra, it was everyone else saw him as a devil who killed his mother. So he became that when his doppelganger like took over his body, possibly.
Yeah, it took over his body because Shinra was gone, and with an empty vessel, I suppose, his
Yeah.
doppelganger just took the opportunity.
Whereas now that the cataclysm, now that that's happening, there doesn't need to be an empty vessel for your doppelganger to have it. They will instead just become real and come fucking fight you.
Yeah, it just billions of mirror matches happening at once.
Yeah, and it's gonna be the sickest shit.
Um, yeah, there's a term for that, a psychology term or something, of how you perceive. Oh yeah, me versus I think it
Yeah, I
was.
think yeah, something like that.
Of like me
I
is
think
how
it's
you
the
perceive
id versus
yourself,
the
and
ego. I think.
yeah, like how you perceive yourself versus how other perceive you,
Yeah.
how you think others perceive you.
There's a whole explanation. Hibawa does the flower lady.
Yeah, Hibana.
Hibana. There's a whole explanation Hibana does.
Yeah. Um, it's a whole explanation. I don't quite remember it,
I read
but
it. I
yeah,
didn't even quite get it at the time, just because it's
yeah.
so. It's to be fair, it's quite out of nowhere.
It's so out there that like you kind of
It's
scratch your
not
head at
only
it.
out there. It's also very sudden for like the direction Fire Force would take. Not what you expect it to take.
Yeah, Fire Force occasionally just takes dips into like psychological and philosophical like
Which is common for series to do, but Fire Force is weird in how it does it.
yeah, they does it weird, like in a different way somehow
Yeah.
than other series.
I think the first proper doppelganger we see is the doppelganger of Benimara's teacher.
No, no, no. The
No.
first proper doppelganger we see is Burns.
Oh yeah,
Uh
Burns gets fucking doppelganger. Yeah.
yeah, it's Burns. He gets doppelgangered and then killed by his doppelganger.
Yeah. Wow.
Actually, was it Burns or was it someone else? I think it might have been. Actually, I think it was. Was it Conroe? Was it? Wasn't?
the guy
Was it
Benimaru is
Conroe's?
with, right?
No, it was no. You know, it was Conroe's doppelganger. That which was the first demon that Benny and Conroe
Yeah,
fought.
the one that tripled him, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
one that he
we
used a
knew
flex
about that for a
gun and
while, that that
crippled
was a demon, with, what are they called again?
demons.
No, what the people who turn to fucking fire people,
Infernal.
Infernal, yeah. It's been a while since we've seen Infernals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we knew for a while that was the first demon Infernal, like, that we know about, really. But now we know that that was a fucking, not only a demon Infernal, but it was a fucking doppelganger
of Conroe,
of
and
Conroe.
and it's told us because Conroe like states like he remembers like that demon. It fought like me. It was like a mirror match,
Yeah, and
essentially.
that's why he's crippled as hell, because he needed to use all of his fire.
In order to yeah, you need to use Akatsuki to do it.
Yeah, and it fucked him up for life.
And so now we're at the point. Shinra's doppelganger took him over. He was perceived as the devil, and yeah, and as time progresses, Adala slowly got closer to life on it slowly the Adala and the world began to like collide and come
Yeah,
together.
the Cataclysm is coming closer.
Yeah.
With every pillar,
And
the Cataclysm is coming closer.
hmm and Adala becomes closer and closer to fusing with the world, which leads to
Which leads, though, yeah,
Iris becoming a third generation,
yeah, she has fire powers now.
and then being revealed whenever she yeah, it was, and in a bit revealed for her to be the eighth pillar.
Is it her or her doppelganger?
It's her.
It's her, yeah.
Because Amaterasu is her doppelganger.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Which is weird that her and her doppelganger are both pillars, but we'll see where that goes, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, just kind of like, it's weird. It implies, Iris is the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
Um, so the eighth and final pillar comes, and then with it, a very powerful, Titanic Infernal.
A
Shinra
doppelganger, I
goes to
believe.
fight it,
No,
which,
it's
and Shinra is very, very strong. Thanks to his fire, the Adala burst. The closer to Adala that the world becomes, the more powerful he becomes.
that's also something else. Everyone's fire powers are getting a boost.
In a way, however, the ones with Adala burst
Oh yeah, the ones with
are the ones
Adela burst are getting way fucking extra powerful, but everyone in general just feeling a general increase in their abilities.
in a way, yeah. Which since they're fighting each other, it doesn't really matter since they're still gonna be at the same level at the end of it.
Yeah, but for everyone else, like fighting infernals and shit, it's basically the explanation as to why infernals won't matter here now, because everyone else could deal with it because they're just more powerful now.
Um,
Like it's why they could all deal with the pillars until while Shinra was asleep, because they were all just getting more strong.
yeah, and so can yeah, and so Shinra goes to fight uh this pillar. Thanks to Adala being so close, he's capable of his light speed very easily. And
It's like the big steering wheel one, yeah.
yeah, it's the one that with the face of the founder of the Tokyo Empire.
Yeah, I have it. I have the panel. There it is.
Yeah, I forget his name.
I think is not Burns. Raffles the third,
Yeah, Raffles.
or
Raffles
this
is the
one's the
third.
first, right?
I think
This is the
so.
founder,
I
yeah.
don't
So
think.
it's the original Raffles. The Raffles the first.
And he goes. Yeah, Shinra goes and handles it. And then something happens, and all of the pillars, Shinra, and this is where Iris is revealed to be the next pillar,
Yeah,
all disappear.
they just fucking poof.
Sho is gone. Haume is gone. Inka's gone. Every pillar has just disappeared.
Yeah, they got poofed. Where are they at?
And
Ah, fucking, we don't know.
Who knows? Supposedly Adala of some kind.
Maybe we're kind of getting an idea of where they might be right now in the Raws, but that's fucking weird.
We'll get to that in a moment.
We'll get to that.
But the boys at Company 8 realized, all right, this is the final stretch. We need to go to Amaterasu and stop the Whiteclads from bringing about the true Cataclysm.
Yeah.
And the Whiteclads set up their defensive position against Company 8. We also get the boy Ogun
Oh yeah,
to
our guy
join
Ogun,
the
the
squad.
fucking objectively the coolest guy in Fire Force.
Yeah, he's very cool. It's kind of weird how he's not mentioned more, considering in canon. I don't know if it's his anime only, but in canon it says he has enough power to rival Burns.
No, that was in the manga too.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know why he's not talked about more,
Yeah.
especially considering, like, in the middle of this final battle, in the middle and like final battle stuff like this, Okubo is still like throwing in comedic stuff,
Oh
and where
yeah.
he just and where like we're in the middle of fighting the final battle, and Obi and the seniors
You
of
know,
Company A are just like, man, I really
fucking
would have been sick
Ogun
if
was
we
our
got
first
Ogun.
choice for the Eighth Company.
Ogun was our first choice. Man, it would have been really sick if we got
It
him
would have
instead
been
of you
so cool if we
schmucks.
got him. Look, he's fighting Karen on one right now.
Like, it would have been really sick if we got him instead of Shinra and Arthur.
Yeah, it would have been so cool.
He's like, we'll take what we can get. Yeah, and they have their final battle. Ogun is apparently revealed to be the descendant of the guy that I think aided Raffles.
Yeah, he was there when the original Raffles was there.
Yeah, and he aided the Raffles in the becoming of the Tokyo Empire.
Yeah.
So Ogun is actually an important figure because of that in a way.
It's Ogun Montgomery, I think.
Yeah, Ogun Montgomery.
Coolest
So
motherfucker
no,
alive.
I really like Okubo's usage of just like not just Japanese people.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okubo is like far and ahead better than most mangaka by having just cool black dudes.
It's cool, he just doesn't just stick with just
Yeah,
Japanese.
with
Like,
like the like black haired Japanese people. He just goes for it. It's very cool. Like our guy Killua, I think is like Killick and Soul Eater, who has fucking I think it's Pot and Fire, which are like fucking sick ass big fucking boxing glove type things, and he just fucking beats the shit out of people. And there's that bit in Soul Eater where like Kid's gone, so he has to use Patty and Liz. So he just fucking
yeah,
he's using
interchangeably using four
four
weapons at
weapons.
once.
It's the most impressive shit ever.
Yeah, he's good. Like, you have Shinra Kusakabe, then you have Arthur Boyle in the same company,
I think
and then you
I
have a dude named Lick. Then you have Vulcan.
Arthur is definitely one of the weirdest of the main cast.
Yeah. Um, like in the same world, you have Shinra Kusakabe. Uh, you just have these Japanese guys. Arthur Ogun Montgomery, the most American name possible for a
Yeah.
last name. Uh, yeah, and like Soul Eater, he had Killick Rung.
Yeah.
Uh, a dude named Ox. I forget his weapon name. Uh, what was her name? The Tanuki witch girl that Ox is simping over.
Uh.
It doesn't matter. Anyways, Oko is really good with having just not like is really good just not just having Japanese people be the cool ones,
Yeah,
and
for
not just
sure.
having like a whole cast of Japanese. Like, it's funny because he doesn't even like because that's the thing. He still kind of limits himself to a Japanese area with the Tokyo Empire, and yet he still comes out with characters that aren't Japanese.
Yeah, it's Okubo's very impressive when it comes to that.
He's really good.
He's really good.
Um, but yeah, the final fight happens.
No, we're
Giovanni.
forgetting a vital part here.
What?
Benimaru fighting the doppelganger of his teacher.
Oh yeah.
Because that's
In the grand scheme of things, it was kind of
it's
small, but it
small,
was
but
still
that's the
really.
beginning of our theory crafting.
That is true.
So yeah, Benimaru fights a doppelganger, and that's where he sees the real power of like demon infernals and doppelgangers. He has to go all out. He uses the
Akatsuki.
Akatsuki, the
I think
cool
he
fire moon
used
thing.
something beyond Akatsuki
Yeah,
as well.
he is like the fucking A form or some shit. It
Mm,
it was sick as
probably
hell.
not.
Benny does the moon thing, and the moon fades away to reveal the craziest shit I've ever seen. Where the fucking moon fades away, and it's the fucking Soul Eater moon in there.
Yeah, that moon shows up.
Yeah.
Benny Murray looks at it. He's just like,
What the?
hmm?
What kind of cartoony ass moon is that?
He's like, that's stupid looking. What
That's
is that?
weird. What the fuck is that? So.
He's like, well, it looks stupid. What am I looking at?
This is the beginning of where things start getting meta weird.
Mhm.
Like, we've been going crazy for probably months, nearing a year now because of this shit. Crazy.
Been around for a year,
Yes.
but
This is where we
Rem-
really started fucking going off the deep end.
so the Soul Eater moon,
So later, man.
in all of its grins and really, it should be called the Ookubo moon
It
at
should
this
be,
point.
yeah, because it's in all of his works.
Well,
Let's call it the Ookubo moon from now on. The Ookubo moon has a lot of meaning. It's
whenever
really
you really
important.
consider it. Hmm. So it's shown up in a bit of like artworks and like um, the cover art kind of.
Yeah. You know, like so silly.
Um,
Oh, it's just a reference, you know, because Ookubo, the
It's-
Soul Eater, and Soul Eater. That's basically the main image of Soul Eater. That's like when people think of Soul Eater, they think of that moon.
Mhm.
It's a very
Especially considering
popular
the
like pop
final
culture
fight.
icon.
Hmm. Especially considering the final fight of Soul Eater took
Takes
place
place
on the
on
moon.
the moon, yes. Which is why that moon is so important. Because not only did the final fight take place on the moon, but Asura slash Krona are trapped in the moon. They got sealed away in the moon.
Last time we checked, the moon was black.
Yeah, when Soul Eater ended, the moon was black. It was a black moon.
Black
And
paper moon.
yeah, a black paper moon, you could say. And going into Fire Force, the moon was normal, so it's like, well, all right. Then it's not. It's fine. There's nothing. There's no connection here.
But now it's the Soul Eater moon, and it's the regular, and it's what it was before.
Yeah, which
No
is
missing tooth.
Yeah, no missing. The missing tooth is extremely important because like it's very identifiable because of that.
Yeah. And it's not black. And this has been a theory. We're not the inventors of this
Yeah,
theory.
we are not. We are most certainly not the inventors of this theory. However, we have collected a lot of things and grown onto it and attached shit onto it, and we've made it our sort of own type of thing.
Yeah. So the theory is that with all that's happening, supposedly the theory is that Fire Force is the prequel to Soul Eater. And there are a numerous amount of things that support this theory.
Like initially, before like shit starts getting crazy with the Cataclysm, it's just like you just want to connect two things that aren't connected, right? Just because the
Yeah.
author made the two works doesn't mean it's connected. There are like little nods at it here and there, and that's fine, but that doesn't mean anything, right? This is where it starts meaning things.
Yeah, like specifically like I remember seeing this in the anime, specifically of the soul of the of Maka's dad,
Death Scythe.
Death Scythe.
He's literally called
An
Death
Easter
Scythe
egg of
Kun.
him. Yeah, an Easter egg of him crying about his daughter that hates him, which is obviously Maka. I think
Yeah.
it was Maki.
I think it's
in the
Makachi they called him there. I don't know.
Makaji, in Solid or in Fire Force, and of course
It's an
the occasional,
obvious reference to Maka's dad.
yeah, and of
His name
course
is
the
Spirit, I
occasional.
think.
His name is Spirit,
Yes.
and of course the occasional thing we see, the Excalibur plushie.
Of course. There was also in the anime only episode where for the first episode of season 2 where they're hanging out buying shit in the store they are. There's like a bunch of like Def Sama stuff. You know,
Yep.
references and stuff.
References, just little
Like
things to throw in there.
any theory before this point that hinges on the references to it are silly. Right?
But
Like we could agree that if it hinges on the references that was silly up till then.
yeah, but now
But now now the Okubo moon's here. Now the moon that has a lot of meaning to Soul Eater is here. And now
it
that's mm,
makes you think. Well, if it looks normal, this might this is there's a very very good chance this is a prequel.
yeah. So if this is a prequel, then what does that mean for Fire Force? Let's put together some things, right?
Mhm.
Well, we know that the Cataclysm is merging the like cognition, the idea of the people together with Adola and making it into reality.
Yeah, the
So
idea of despair.
yeah, and it's this very chapter where we learn that Hibana proposes the theory that what the cataclysm is what the people want, which is death, right? They want the world to end.
Give it a bit before we do that.
Oh yeah, just wait. But
Give it a bit.
she says it outright that the people are wanting the world to end.
Yeah, it's some Nick shit.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's what the cataclysm is going to bring about.
Yeah, that's like the whole. And as Adala comes closer, so does Cataclysm, obviously. And of course, the site of the Soul Eater moon, and that's where I guess it's kind of like this isn't really said. I just now thought about it. I
Hmm.
guess you could say that the Soul Eater moon, the Okubo moon,
Yeah.
could be perceived as the moon's doppelganger.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh fuck! I didn't even think about
Consider-
that.
Considering the way Hibana explained it, is in some cases that moon is how people perceive the moon somehow.
Mm, that's weird. Oh, that's weird.
Hmm?
That's weird. That's odd. That's odd. That's really weird.
Which is funny because if that is true from the implications, that implies that celestial bodies can have doppelgangers, which, if you think about it, isn't Adala the world's doppelganger?
In a way,
In a
Adola is
way,
like
isn't it
Adola is
not?
the opposite of the normal world. And it's like because it's where you go where you die and weird shit.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the Soul Eater Moon showing up while crazy, while very crazy, and a very big indicator for things, you could possibly, maybe, as I've seen some people do in the Fire Force Reddit and general discussions about Fire Force, you could argue that this is just a reference. Which is kind of silly to do, but you definitely can argue it.
You can't. Like, I mean, this is like if this is a reference, this is like say like in the middle of like Dragon Quest V, the hero looks up and the sun is now a Dragon Ball, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
that's a good way of
it,
putting it.
It's kind of what's being argued.
Yeah, if in Dragon Quest, in a Dragon Quest game, all of a sudden you're going to collect the Dragon Balls. They're called the Dragon Balls. They have the stars on them. They're orange. You summon a dragon that's green and long, and it's called Shenron.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, it's just a reference, you
Just
know?
a reference.
It's just a
Just a
reference.
reference.
Which, like, if it's like a side quest, yeah. But then if somehow that's tied into the main plot, and you look up and the Sons of Dragon Ball, and that's what the plot is from that point on.
Yeah. I I definitely think the people who argued that that's just a reference at the time were either are regretting making that argument now or are kind of a little bit stupid. Because that cannot just be a reference. Even at the time, we were like confused on whether or not we should refer to it as a reference.
But no,
Now we're
no,
sure.
now it's more than a reference.
Now
I mean,
it's
it feels like it has to be at this point.
it cannot just be a reference at this point.
So the final fight's occurring.
I like to mention for a record, when this happened, this is where the beginning of our weird descent into madness theory begins. We will continue forward though.
Fun, fun way to name that.
Descent into madness theory. Oh yeah,
Just the use of the word madness in general.
I didn't even think when I said that. Let's continue.
A, a very madness, a very
A
popular word
Freudian
in
slip, you
Okubo's
could say.
dictionary. Yeah. So the final battle continues, um, and amongst other things happening, we learn that Haume is experiencing everyone's thoughts at once, and she just doesn't. She hates it,
Which is
and
pretty
so
bad.
Karen,
Suffering.
yeah, suffering passivity in a way. No, as a and so the cataclysm is jump started. The world is on fire. There's just storms of fire all around the world, and everyone is scared, is in despair. And doppelgangers are showing up, causing for millions of mirror matches worldwide.
I like the way you're talking about that. Millions of mirror matches worldwide. Hype level increases by 200% as everyone is forced to fight their double. Reports say that the
um,
ratings have increased by at least 70%.
so, uh, and that's kind of where we are currently at.
Yeah,
Everyone is trying to figure out a way.
the most current chapter, 254, I believe. 250,
Whereabouts of hope.
Whereabouts of Hope, yes. 254, the
Oh,
Whereabouts of Hope.
before we continue,
Yes.
I remembered something.
Yes, what have you remembered, Mike?
You remember the Jesus allegories that were being made
Oh,
for
fuck,
Shinra?
I forgot about the Jesus allegories! Okay, right, I think it was in between where, like, Shinra fucking fell asleep or somewhere. No,
No,
it
it
was
was
Shinra went to fight the
right.
pillar, and then Sho's having his fun time adventures.
It was like right before they all disappeared.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think.
So fun time adventures with Sho. He wakes up to justice. He remembers his big bro Shinra and how cool he is. He leaves the White Clads, but everyone is like, it's okay if he leaves. The cataclysm will still happen. He is still a pillar. He leaves with Arrow because Arrow is like is like
It's his guardian.
a guardian. She's dedicated. That's one of the really cool things about the guardians is that they aren't loyal to the evangelists. They are loyal to the people they are protecting, which is really cool.
Yeah. And Karen even says it that like if you're a pillar and you're in danger, he's gonna unless he's the one causing the danger,
Yeah.
he's gonna protect him. Like how he protected Shinra. He was just like, look, He's like, "You're a pillar, I'm a guardian. Can we just work things out for real quick and handle this problem?"
Yeah, Karen protects pillars, and that's his whole deal. And we'll talk about Karen a bit after we talk about the show Jesus allegories.
So, Sho does a little bit of digging around. He was
Show
curious about
in
their
shows
heritage.
Funtime Adventures, we go dig around in medical records and like history, and we go dig up stuff on his mom, and we find out that we
Yep.
you do it.
We find out that both Sho and Shinra do not have a father, a listed biological father, and it is revealed that that Shinra's mom suddenly was pregnant.
You could call it a virgin birth, maybe.
Hmm. You could call it that.
You could call it that.
And so that was just confusing to them. And so Sho looked further into it, and he discovered a long ago legend of some sorts of a messiah being born the same way.
Yeah.
And there is a whole picture of anime Jesus.
Straight up anime Jesus, like the fucking crown of thorns and everything. He just shows up.
And from there, Sho gets himself into a title where he believes Shinra is the hero and is the messiah, and he is the angel that will help guide him on that path.
And he will save the world.
Shinra will be the one to save the world, which is really funny with our theory that we have. So, yeah, and what Sho says to Arrow, he says, "All right, we're gonna team up with the Company 8 now. I know what we're doing. Shinra, he's the dude. He is the Messiah. We are going to save the world with him."
Yeah.
And Arrow's just like, "All right." And Sho tells Arrow, "Don't lose hope." Like he knows something.
Which is very important considering what is happening in the most recent chapter.
Yes.
Hope and despair are going to become very big, I feel.
Some Danganronpa shit.
Some Danganronpa shit, yeah. Oh my god. I remember when the fucking Jesus allegory, the chapters of the Jesus shit started happening, we just yelled at each other for a while.
He's like Ookubo. He was really making a Jesus
Okubo, what the
allegory.
fuck are you doing? I've only seen this done twice. One here, one in Steel Ball Run. These are
And
the
both were
and
in
both are the craziest shit I've ever seen.
seeing Jesus on manga panel.
There's not you don't see Jesus often in anime and manga, but when you do, you know
But when
shit's
he's
getting
there,
real. You know shit's getting real.
yeah.
Oh my god. All right. Anything else we forgetting, Mike?
Yeah. The Cataclysm is jump started. Mirror matches are happening all around the world. And Joker, who is one of the cooler guys we've experienced.
Yeah, we haven't talked a lot about Joker. He's definitely one of the cooler guys.
Yeah. Joker shows up and tells everyone what they very quickly figured out. Anyways, uh, he tells everyone that all of the negative emotions in the world.
I can read this for you.
Yeah, do it.
He fucking comes in. He's like, it's despair, and then Rich is like, have you figured out the answer? And he just fucking. You want to know what's burning in the world? Well, it's humanity's negative emotions: madness, passivity, apathy, rage, destruction, fear, disgust. Put it all together, and you end up with despair.
Zetsubo
Z-
is the big thing.
Zetsubo is what the cataclysm is.
It's all of humanity's despair bringing about what they want in the end, which is destruction and death.
Yeah.
Um
Uh,
um
Humanity's image of despair is crucial to the cataclysm.
yeah. And Sho's words are important. Do not lose hope, the opposite of despair.
Exactly. You need to keep hope to combat the cataclysm.
Yeah. So that's kind of the point that we're at right now.
Which actually, now that I think about it, saying to keep hope and that to the eighth, the oftentimes hope is associated with a figure, right? And you could say that a messiah would be a figure of hope.
You could say that.
You could say that. Okay, that's weird. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's kind of like the point where we're at right now, where the Company 8 are trying to come together, bring all of the companies of Fire Force together in order to convince the people, convince humanity to keep hope.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is getting more Jesus-y by the minute.
All the while, another fight. All the while, fights are still kind of happening. Not even mirror matches, just like with characters like a dragon, who was launched into space
Watching the
and is now
space
just coming back.
by Karen's ultimate sacrifice, which is the coolest shit, and Karen's definitely one of the best antagonists I've seen in a while.
Yeah, where Karen takes all of the energy from Hinawa's velocity unbridled and releases it into a wave of fire much stronger.
No, he takes a lot more. He's charged it up from his battle with the Ogun. He's taking it from the shit that Hinawa's doing. Didn't he get it from somewhere else too? He got people fired at him too.
I think Arrow fired at him a
Yeah,
bit.
Arrow fired him a bit.
Yeah, and the amount of energy made a wave of fire that was much stronger than what was a literal nuke. Way much stronger than a nuke
Yeah, from the
even.
sun.
Uh, from Sohn, which we know that is true because Karen took that blast and threw it away and lived.
Yeah,
Karen did not live this.
Karen did not live this. He disintegrated.
His body became fire and he became ash.
Yeah. You know who did love it though?
Dragon.
Dragon.
Dragon got hit with that directly.
Direct impact, and he get fucking Dragon Ball Z'd out into fucking space.
And you know what he did? He's just like, man, I'm gonna go fight that Arthur guy again.
Yeah,
And
he said that
just
he said
flying back.
he was like I ain't gonna get fucking cars, and he just fucking flies back.
He's like, I'm not getting cars. I refuse for it. And then he does something really weird. He makes, I guess it makes sense because it's his own fire, but space has no oxygen.
Don't think about
So
it. Don't think about it too
realistically, any
much.
fire shouldn't happen
He
there.
produces
And
fire because he's a third
yeah,
generation
yeah, he's a
pyrotechnic.
third generation. But still, also I've also heard that it's like I heard this a long time ago. I don't know if it's true. Fire in space, if it is produced somehow, is blue.
I mean, we can't see. This is black and white manga. We can't exactly see it, so
Yeah, we can't see that. Damn, rip Karen. I went over to his fucking versus or not his wiki, Fire
deceased.
Force wiki.
Deceased.
Yep,
That
it's
to them.
deceased.
Damn.
Yeah, just to get just to get a C.
Yeah, can we get an F in chat, boys?
Get an F in chat.
F in chat.
Um.
F in that comment section, la boys.
So so now we are at a point. We have gotten as caught up as there is.
We've even read the Raws, which we won't.
We
We'll
read
get
the
in.
most recent
We
Raw.
could get into it, but we'll get into it a little bit, like maybe after, just so that like people who want to hear the theory don't have to hear the spoilers for the Raws.
We jumped the gun a bit, but we're paid off
It paid off because
anyway.
we have witnessed some crazy shit.
So I think there's no better way to get into it than to just go back a bit and remember the theory of Fire Force is a prequel to Soul Eater.
Yes, that is
There are
the origin of this.
that is the many theories that we have placed. Does the Okubo moon showing up is the top reason?
I
However,
wouldn't say it's the top reason, but it's the most like powerful reason.
plausible. I suppose
I would like to mention in the most recent chapter there is it's in the most recent one or the one before it where like fucking weird shit starts happening in the sky and the moon gets connected to another moon which is the same type of moon but inverted and black. I'd just like to mention that.
Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah, it's odd.
important.
Important. So, wait a second.
Yeah.
I think you mentioning that just gave me another theory.
Oh shit! All right, bring it up. Bring it up. Bring it
Let's
up when you need to come it up. Bring it up.
let's do let's do our top crazy theory first.
Let's outline it first. I
So,
wouldn't say this is more like an interconnected series of theories where if indeed the first one is true, then everything else is entirely
or
plausible.
yeah, if Fire Force is indeed the theory is true, if Fire Force is indeed prequel to Soul Eater, then everything else is very, very possible.
Everything else is extremely plausible.
So, do we have any other theories of other than the one?
All of them tie into the one, so like
Okay.
all roads lead to Rome in this case.
Why don't we just start at Rome?
Yeah, let's just start at Rome.
So, we'll start off with this. At the very, very beginning of Soul Eater, where we see Death, Shinigami-sama, for what is kind of the first time, or any flashback we have that shows off Shinigami-sama and him communicating with Asura in a way.
Every time Shinigami-sama talks to Asura, it is almost always in a flashback, where in the background we can see what the world was like.
A black, fiery landscape is what it seemed like.
Destroyed. You could say it looks a lot like the area that was destroyed when in that arc where they went to that island. It's very similar, but a lot more recent looking. And even then, in the flashbacks we have to where Raffles is and where they're walking around in destroyed ruins of Earth, it looks pretty similar.
Looks pretty similar. You could also tie it in and say that it kind of looks like Adala.
It kind of looks like Adala,
yeah. So that's one theory that kind of looks like Adala.
That looks like Adala and or like a ruined Earth.
Yeah,
which is both at the same time, which they could be connected.
Yeah. So from there, as the Soul Eater theory becomes more and more plausible, we start to think, who is the evangelist?
Yeah.
Is the evangelist is this mysterious godly entity that seems to have this much incredible power.
It is, yeah. It's close to a concept, but it is an actual being.
Yeah.
It's a being with the powers of a concept, which is odd.
Yeah. And the one time we see the most of the evangelist's face is that one panel right there.
Yeah. We've also seen the evangelist talk a bit.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
It's a lot of like vagaries and end of the world stuff,
Yeah.
We haven't heard the evangelist talk with like a voice actor, but he's talked in manga like bubbles.
Yeah. So we have a current theory. There is a current theory. Potentially, the evangelist is possibly Asura or
possibly.
Krona.
Like Asura or Krona or something similar.
Or something along those lines.
Yeah. Maybe the fusion between the two, one or the other, who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah, that's definitely that's a big one.
It's a big one. Madness has a lot of possibilities.
Madness has a lot of possibility. Like the main kind of like power thing in Soul Eater was madness, which there's a
It
madness
was
in there.
Souls.
It was
It was
souls and
Souls and like
madness and a lot of weird stuff.
yeah.
But
Soul Eater was an amalgamation of things that just kind of led back into the Souls.
it's fun. It's a fun.
It
It's
also
good.
had witches, which is funny and interesting.
Yeah.
It's possible
Yeah,
Asura has
the evangelist is said to be a girl, and we don't exactly know. Here's the thing. Okay, we don't know Krona's gender. Krona's just stated to be genderless. So therefore, the evangelist also kind of being close to then genderless is kind of pretty helpful there.
Yeah. There's also the case of at the end of Soul Eater, um, at the end of Soul Eater, there was a speculation. Everyone became obsessed with boobs, which is a
Which,
very Okubo
all right,
thing.
sounds stupid, but I'll hear us out.
But so, and everyone is just like, man, they're just obsessed with boobs. And the soul experts of the group, like, come to the conclusion it's possible that much like Kid's madness of order and much like Black Star's madness of power, Krona has their own madness, uh, which was dubbed the madness of boobs. And what it is Krona, in their backstory, did not have
Did
a
not receive a healthy motherly figure.
no. It was quite
No
the opposite,
motherly love to be
actually.
found.
And at the end of the day, what Krona was truly desiring was some kind of motherly affection, and boobs are
Boobs are
considered
kind of
motherly.
symbolic of a motherhood, you know.
Yes, symbolic symbolism for motherly love, which is why that whole point was there.
Mm-hmm.
And we made the joke, and we made the thing of, it is possible if Asura has Krona within him, that with her boob madness, it could make the evangelist out to be a little more feminine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's definitely that's kind of a
And
bit of it's a bit of crackpot, but it's not there for no reason.
yeah,
Like
and
if
it's not
like it would
like
have to come up.
Asura can't do that.
Yeah,
There was
Asura.
a large portion of the final arc had Krona within Asura anyways.
Yeah,
Um, that's one theory of Asura or Krona or both or something similar being the evangelist.
yeah.
Um, now, okay. Now, we have our big theory. Our big ol' theory.
Big important theory. The big we're going fucking crazy theory.
So, let's go over the notes.
Let us review our notes.
The cataclysm is humanity's despair. Humanity's want to die, want for death.
Mm-hmm.
Shinra wants to be a hero.
Indeed.
He wants to be a hero for everyone.
Indeed. Correct.
Humanity wants to be saved through death. Humanity wants to be saved. Humanity
So
wants a hero.
so in the eyes of humanity, what a hero would be that a hero in this situation that they want to save them would be.
Death. Shinra is said to be the Messiah, something even beyond a hero.
And as we've seen, the cataclysm in Adola is making things to be personified because the moon is personified.
Hmm.
It's got a grin and everything. So what is the personification of death?
What is the opposite of death? A savior.
A savior, a messiah.
Shinra is a savior. Death is the opposite of that. The people want death. The people want a savior. Shinra, we believe Shinra is Shinigami-sama.
It sounds so stupid saying it, but hear us out.
We believe Shinra is death.
We believe that in some way at the end of this, Shinra will become Shinigami-sama. Like, as we've seen in flashbacks, Shinigami-sama was a lot more of a hard ass, a lot like grittier, a lot edgier, which would make sense because in a
Angry.
world that has been ended by the Cataclysm or in Adola, Shinra would probably be pretty angry.
Yeah, that this is what was this is what happened. This is not what was supposed to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing to point out, Shinra, this was info that was kind of like helped assist our theory from a friend of ours. Uh, he kind of like I was telling him this theory, uh, and he told me, that okay, Shinra is the fourth pillar. Shinra Shinra, like out of all of the negative emotions of humanity that form into despair, are the seven pillars, with Iris, the eighth pillar, being despair.
Mm-hmm.
Shinra is the fourth pillar, rage, which Death was pretty angry.
Yes, yes.
Um, Another thing though is that which really helps it is that from what this guy says, he said, and it was a really good point, that the number 4 in Japan is tied with death. Shinra is the fourth pillar. Like that
It's
feels like it's too good to be
it's
true.
definitely it, it cannot be a coincidence. There is a
It's
possibility it could be a coincidence, but if that's a coincidence, it's way too close.
yeah, it's just like yeah. As well as if we remember, uh, Asura is Death's son, much like Death the Kid is.
Mm-hmm.
But less so, we also know that both Death the Kid and Asura aren't. They are Death's son, but aren't they aren't his sons. They are aspects of himself that he just kind of osmosised out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, with Kid being Death's order and Asura being Death's madness. This friend also said that if Asura if Shinra is Death, then that would explain why Asura has red eyes,
Fuck, you're right. That would explain that,
as a,
wouldn't it?
as opposed to Kid's yellow.
Yeah, and the black
Um,
hair too.
yeah. Also, I did tell this to you once. I showed you a panel of whenever Vulcan was showing Arthur, Iris, and Shinra the like his hologram of the ocean, and they were looking at it. It was like that full panel. I
Mm-hmm.
told you it felt really like nostalgic to me reading Soldier. As I looked at it, it was just like, man, like it's so fun looking at these characters like and recognizing, yeah, this is Okubo's art style. Because in that moment, I looked at Shinra, Iris, and Arthur, and I couldn't help but think that looks like that looks like Kid, Soul, and Patty,
Yeah.
which is like that could just be a case of his
You
art
could you
style,
could argue
but
it's a similar
Kid
art style. Yeah, it's the same person.
but at the same time, there is there is the tiniest possibility, of just like Shinra does look suspiciously close to Kid.
He does. It's very odd how close, like shit, because we know Okubo could have just drawn him differently, right?
Yeah,
Like he
he
didn't
could have gone
have
for
to
another.
look like Kid.
Yeah, yeah. So that's like our big theory is that we believe Shinra to be Death, to be Shinigami-sama, and that because of this we believe that there is a potential that they fail, the cataclysm happens, and all that's left is Shinra.
Yes.
However, there is also another case that is funny. That it is like a funny
I
little
had
thing.
I had a sub theory relating to this that Arthur Boyle is very Arthurian myth related. So,
It's pretty obvious he's based off of King Arthur.
yeah, King Arthur is based off King Arthur, and the only other person in Soul Eater that is even close to related to King Arthur is Excalibur. So what if
Yeah.
Arthur becomes Excalibur?
Yeah, and it's funny to mention that because in story, Death and Excalibur do go way
They
back.
go way back. They've known each other.
They've known each other for a while, so that is funny
And the way they
to think
interact
about.
does seem like the way like a bunch of like old dudes who have hated each other in the past, but they've mellowed out over the years would hate each other. Like just
Yeah,
casual
they're just like
indifference.
they're just like Excalibur, you old sponge.
You old sponge. So, that
Yoda.
it's more of a funny theory, but it's definitely something to take account of. Because even if it's not, the fact that like a Shinigami-sama Shinra would interact, would like make friends with an Excalibur type person who reminds him a lot of his definitely friends but doesn't want to admit it, Arthur
His
Boyle
rival.
rival, is definitely a sad thought and could there is something there definitely if it's true.
Yeah, there is some in there that could be like it's definitely like a sad thought, just
It's
like if he
a
just so happened,
Yeah, it's a sad
or if
thought.
like Excalibur's like the doppelganger of Arthur or something.
That would be silly, but honestly, I could see it.
I mean, shit, with how doppelgangers are seeming to be playing out, you know,
Hmm.
like some are just infernal demons, and others are just like just infernal versions.
Hmm.
That is the reigning theory that we have. I have come up. I kind of forgot a little bit of it, but I have come up with a bit of a theory
All right,
in the middle of this.
lay it on there.
What if we're looking at this wrong?
What if? All right.
What if Soul Eater really was a prequel to Fire Force?
Mm. This was I would like to mention before when we first considered the idea that Fire Force is a prequel, we did briefly like go over the idea that what if Fire Force is not a prequel but instead a sequel and Fight Soul Eater is the prequel. We did go over that a
Yeah.
bit. However,
But then we like
yeah,
looked
when
over the map of Fire Force and realized, well, in Soul Eater, it takes place in Nevada,
yeah,
in Death City, Nevada.
yeah, and Nevada's fucking destroyed.
Yeah, pretty much everywhere that isn't like the Japanese area is gone.
Yeah.
Um, but what if potentially we're looking at this all wrong? What if everything we had was right, but our perspective of it is wrong? What
Mm.
if Soul Eater is the prequel, or is the what if Soul Eater happened before? What if Fire Force is the sequel? And kind of the motivator for this is everything we have that we would mention making Fire Force the prequel. But what if we stop and remember Shinra has time travel?
Oh shit. Oh shit, you're right. Shit, you're right. Because when he
There
does
is a
his Adola burst, he
light
stops. Yeah,
speeds,
he stops
particle breaks
existing,
down.
and he stops existing, and he just reappears. He time travels into the exact same time he was at, in like teleporting
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah, he simultaneously atomizes and then comes back
It's like
through time
it
travel.
is said that that is certainly a form of time travel.
Yeah, it is a form of time travel, as we have seen Shinra using it to access memories of people of the past.
Yeah, he like causes like he causes Shao to get his memories back.
Yeah, and also causes that one demon that I'm forgetting the name of. Uh, that one demon that I'm forgetting the name of. It also causes him to just because Shinra to witness his past life and him slowly becoming a demon. And this is like his past life of way back 200 years ago,
Hmm.
whenever whenever Raffles was still getting stuff together and all that.
It's the demon in the arc where they went to the island. The kind of priest guy.
Yeah, him. So it is very possible that everything we said is plausible, very plausible. But what if we think about it, instead of it all happening in a set amount of time, or in like a set like order of events, and what if we just think about it, pause that current events, Shinra goes back in time and to before the Cataclysm. The only thing stopping this theory from being truly plausible is the fact that we know real life was before the Cataclysm.
Yeah, because before the Cataclysm was real life.
But what if, at the same time, we also think about it, getting a little insane here, multiverse theory.
Mm-hmm.
Shinra went back in time. Instead of going back to the time of before the Cataclysm, which was real life, he instead goes back in time to like kind of like I really like throwing word to a time where the Cataclysm is like, I guess, suppose just about, the first Cataclysm is just about starting, and he is in his garb as Death, experiencing it all. Somehow he saves everyone and ends up and it's just rebuilt from the ground up, back into society as we back into civilization as we know it, and it somehow became Soul Eater. It's not our hardest theory, but I just would like to throw it out there.
It's definitely interesting for sure. Because there's
It is
definitely some ideas that we don't know fully yet, which Okubo could pull out.
yeah.
There's a lot of things we don't know, and there's a lot of directions Okubo could go. It's all. I wouldn't say it's a mess. I would say it's an organized mess. It is the mess of someone who knows what he is doing. All right, let's talk about the chapter 255, Ross.
Yeah.
Anyone who doesn't want those spoilers, get out now. We've basically this is that's our theory basically, that Shinra is Shinigami-sama, that Fire Eater is a prequel possibly, but there's also the weird possibility that it's maybe a sequel, but that Soul Eater and Fire Force are definitely connected in some way.
Yeah. All with a bunch of always a bunch of like things adding together, tying in thanks to the
A
Okubo.
lot of small coincidences that have to tie in together. Didn't I have
Yeah.
a piece of evidence that was related to Benimaru?
Uh, I think your evidence was just that he was
Yeah,
Japanese.
Benimaru being Japanese. Oh, it was the idea that since the lines of Sanzu and Benimaru being Japanese, since Benimaru is
Oh yeah.
Japanese, he has to know about like Sanzu is the river of death in Japanese like myth. So like
Yeah.
it's possible that Shinra would learn about like the lines of Sanzu.
You know, Super Fire
Mm-hmm.
is unlocked whenever you are feeling a sense of dread and death.
Mm. Mm. It's like it is. Shinra does look a lot like Death, the kid.
Yes.
So if he gets lines in his hair, I'll say we called
He
it. You called it definitely. You're the one who proposed that idea to me.
yeah. And yeah, also there's the case. Lines of Sanzu are white, Sho has white hair.
Mm-hmm. It's very
What
odd
if?
that Sho specifically has white hair.
Yeah, and Shinra doesn't.
Yeah. Sho also is a
Also,
very interesting character in the way he uses an Adola burst.
yeah, he uses the Adola burst. It's interesting. Just if there's one thing Okubo does with just fire,
He took you can manipulate fire and ran with it.
yeah, and he thought of every possible scenario. And like it's like he goes. Sometimes it goes beyond fire. It's just heat
It's just heat.
or like lack of heat.
General heat manipulation.
Heat manipulation.
And since you can manipulate heat, you can remove heat from an area and make it cold.
Yeah, he took thermal manipulation and ran with it as far as he could. Like
It's
he ended up,
basically like particle manipulation for like the heat particles.
yeah. Like we have people that have plasma, people that have radio waves and electricity, uh, people that just manipulate fire, people that like Shinra who just has fire feet, but thanks to a dollar burst can go light speed. And then we have probably the most extreme case of what he does. Actually, there might be another one. There might be a couple of other ones, but they're the ones that but Shows is the one that I know and isn't. Shinra Shows is the one that I know has a reasoning for it, and the others I just don't really remember. But it's because what was it? It was actually shit. I don't do I even remember Show? I think it was using the heat energy of the expansion of the infinite expansion of the universe to form his own separate universe on top of the universe that we are experiencing into a sort of stop time, freezing time. Essentially taking the word freeze and making it conceptual.
Literal. He's taking away the heat energy that the universe uses to continue time.
Yeah, and therefore it's nothing. It just becomes time is stopped.
Time stops, but Shinra can move through the stop time because he fucking deatomizes himself and removes himself from the universe for a brief moment.
Yeah. There is also a couple of other ones, like the guy that can manipulate gravity, which wasn't explained.
Oh yeah, fucking him. That's weird. How the fuck is that heat related?
And then there's also the guy that impersonated Raffles the First.
Yeah, he's like using heat to like fucking morph his muscles and shit. Also, he's immortal, which is interesting.
He's immortal.
He's definitely not human.
Because he's been around since Raffles the First.
He is not
which is
human.
in canon
He is
like
something.
200 years ago.
That motherfucker is something else, and we don't know. What else? What else we forgetting? Oh, that's actually very possible. Didn't we posit the theory that it's possible like there are other beings and something like him is very witch-like?
Yeah, witches are immortal.
There's also I was about to say that witches can only be female, but that thing's kind of genderless.
That person can be whatever.
That thing can be whatever.
It's not explained how the powers work either.
Mm-hmm. Even at the end of all of this, all of our theory crafting, we still don't have a solid answer for what the evangelist is exactly. Like even like the theory that it's like Krona or Asura in some way holds some ground, but even then there's a possibility that the evangelist is something else entirely.
Yeah. And it's not even it's neither, and it just so happens that coincidentally that it kind of aligns.
Yeah.
Which also, one thing we didn't think about, which might prove some ground to Fire Force sequel theory, is that if Asura or Krona is the case, if Fire Force is the prequel, how did they get there?
You're right. That's it definitely puts a kibosh in the idea that the evangelist is Krona or Asura.
Yeah, so it's very possible it's just something else entirely.
Although we have introduced time travel into this idea, so nothing is entirely out of the question.
It's not entirely out of the question.
Not to mention, how the fuck does the real life shit factor into this?
Yeah. It's weird, just the implications of all that.
Just like
especially
everything we've said works until you put in the real life shit.
The real life scenario.
Suddenly things get really weird when that happens. Suddenly a lot of things can't start making sense, and even then suddenly things are anything could happen at this point.
Yeah. Ookubo is pulling some wild shit off.
It is 5D chess in manga form.
He is anyways, moving on from that.
Okay, that's
Let's talk about our theory in how we believe Ookubo has wrapped the entirety of Japanese manga marketing.
now that we've gotten the stupid little small theories out of the way, let's begin our big Uber theory that Okubo is behind a lot of world events and controlling the scene, controlling everything behind the scenes.
And how Okubo has gotten the entirety of the Japanese manga marketing system wrapped around his finger and
He's
has
figured it
known
out.
from the beginning.
The man has figured it out. He has it all. Shonen Jump, fucking kids.
He knows the flow chart of
Just
shonen
manga
of the
in
first.
general. Manga in general, the man has figured it out. He has it wrapped around his finger. He knows what he's doing. Everything is planned from the beginning. Okubo is a genius and possibly our god.
So from here on out, this is all about the
Chapter
Raws.
255 raw spoilers.
So from here we have we start off with that one thing I was talking about. All in all, since we don't fucking understand Japanese,
Yeah.
we don't really know what's happening.
We can't read it.
All that we know is the world is continuing to be destroyed. It looks like, however, it looks like Vulcan has uh, made a device that allows Obi to communicate with all the companies in order to tell them to keep up the hope.
Mm-hmm.
However, the most important part of all this is whenever we get back to a image of Adala and the seventh pillar, who I forgot the name of,
I forgot her
but
name
she
too.
represents disgust.
Yeah, she
She's
is
a nun.
disgust.
She has a little bit of a monologue with herself for a moment. She talks to herself.
Well, we don't know. We
and
don't.
then
She's there. It's a monologue. We don't know if it's with herself or it could be the evangelist that's talking to her.
or her thoughts.
Because we've
However,
seen before when the evangelist speaks to people, it's sort of in like these narrator ways where like it's spoken outside of speech bubbles and just in the general like blanks of the panels.
yeah, like third person perspective.
And this is where the craziest shit I've ever seen in manga happens right now.
So so it starts off with a page of her talking, another page of her talking with each other, or whatever's happening, and then a page after that, we get a real life image.
For real, straight up.
Quite
Images
literally
of a
a
real
photograph.
woman, a woman who looks similar to the manga discussed lady. Straight up real life woman posing in weird ways.
Yeah, as if she is like a character being introduced in a show.
She's like holding her hand out flat, like her. I'll put images on screen, but she's holding her hand out flat, like and just put like holding it out.
You know what this kind of looks like?
What?
This looks like a fucking anime opening.
It does look like an anime opening.
Like it has her posing at the beginning, and then she's like a pose, and then it has her walking, getting closer and closer to the camera on each panel, like that one, like those scenes in an opening
This
where they're
looks
just
like an anime
walking and you
opening,
get closer.
but what I believe it is, I believe that this is her backstory.
Yeah. What you believe it? What'd you say?
I believe that this is her backstory.
Yeah. This is that woman's
This
life
is either her
before.
backstory or the backstory of her doppelganger. Because you see
Yeah.
there the Romanji numbers for 20XX are there, and that's something.
Yeah. And we know that Raffles, the whole event with Raffles the First took place like 200 or so years in the past, before the events of Fire Force start.
Which means we are definitely not in the 20 blank number. We are not in the 20XXs.
Yeah, we are at minimum in 22XX.
The 22,000s at minimum. Not to mention, the areas she's in are. It looks like to be a hospital.
Yeah.
Real life, real world hospital.
Yeah. Also, can I just point out photograph images just stamped onto a manga.
It's so weird.
It's so weird. It
It's
looks so
so weird.
freaky.
It's fucking freaky. It has a certain like
It's like it
unnatural.
shouldn't be there.
It has a.
Dude,
What is
we're doing
that?
this online.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what it's like to buy the Fire
Oh
Force
my
volume
god, could you
and
imagine? No,
looking
no,
at it and
no, no,
seeing
no,
a
no, no, no,
real
no, no.
person?
I want you to imagine you're a Japanese person who's enjoying Fire Force. You pick up the magazine that it comes in, the Shonen magazine it comes in. It's not Shonen Jump. I think it's like weekly something. You pick it up, you flip through like your favorite stories that are in there, and you get the Fire Force. You read the first pages. Oh, that's weird. Oh, hey, it's the Discuss Lady, and you flip the page because it's specifically formatted as to where the next page you flip to would be flipping to the page, and there is a real ass picture of a woman on your fucking in your face.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine doing that and then looking at it and being like, "Hold on, I know that person."
I believe, I have a theory. I believe that this woman is possibly someone who works with Ookubo, or maybe an aunt, or maybe an editor.
Yeah. Also, just like going back to imagine being the person that does that, and like you're like walking in like the streets, like trying to get to somewhere, and then you flip the page, and you're all of a sudden looking at a sky shot of Shibuya, and you're like, "But I'm here."
But I'm in Shibuya, and you look closely at the picture. You're there.
You
That's
see that
you.
guy that's standing still looking at the magazine?
That's you. That would be
Okubo.
fucking Ookubo.
Okubo has seen through the eyes of heaven.
Yeah, so she's at a doctor's office. She's contemplating something. She says words. Then there's this page. It's just close up on her face, mouth open as if she's talking, and she says something in quotes.
Talking directly to us.
She says something directly to us in quotes, implying that that is like a concept or a thing that she's saying there. The
Or
name of
either that
something.
or some the like a pronoun, or she's like it's
It's
in bold,
definite.
so it's very
It
popular.
has to be the name of something because in quotations there, because the quotations imply it's a name. I who knows what the fuck she's saying here. I don't know. I'm terrified.
Especially in bold.
Yeah, in bold. That always means important. And then the page right after it is this woman doing the strange kata poses in a
Yeah, she's just
white
like,
void.
white void. And then the next is her with her head on her hands in a doctor's place. Maybe a college, no, it's
It's definitely
somewhere.
doctor. It has the feel of a doctor's place. And you notice these
Yeah.
pictures have been taken recently because you see that thing in between her and next to her, and it's
Mm-hmm.
cheat. That's what they've put down for like social distancing reasons.
Yeah. So Okubo was out taking pictures for his manga during the
Yeah,
pandemic.
yeah,
What a
and
god.
she
What a
pulls out
goat.
her phone, and I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
the fuck she's doing, but she's talking to herself or to someone, and as you see the letters SNS there, those that means a message. She's sending a message to someone, a text message. She's sending a message to someone. I don't know who. It could be anyone. Then I think like either her inner thoughts start talking again, and and she seems to be talking to us.
Looking at directly at us.
Yeah, talking to,
But
and then there's, you're what?
real quick, I just want to like show you this.
Yeah,
This image right here, like the top half of this panel, of this page, it just looks like a high tier shit post, just
it
like
does.
standing
It
looking at
does.
you, talking, and then
Hold
standing
on,
looking at you.
hold on. Take a screenshot of that and crop it as to where it's just the top part. Post it in general.
Squad laughing.
You got the whole squad laughing. Oh my god, that's so weird. Okay, so yeah, it's just fucking so. This is so weird. She's talking. She's definitely talking to us at this point, and then in the final
Yeah,
page, she smirks at us, looking weird, and then she gets close to the camera and she's smiling at us, and that's the end of the fucking
yeah,
chapter
yeah. That's the end. It's just a close up of her
of
smirking
this
at us
woman's face,
diabolically.
this real ass woman's face.
diabolically looking at us,
What the
at the
fuck?
reader.
What the fuck are you doing, Ookubo? What does
What
this
is that?
mean?
So, this ties into our true theory.
This is the true theory. This is
How
the thing.
Okubo is experienced and he knows the game of manga in and out.
He knows everything. He's planned everything.
So
Not only has he planned out the entirety of Fire Force, he's planned out the events surrounding in real world around Fire
he knew
Force.
exactly. Like the implications is that it implies he knew the flow chart of what was going to happen with Fire Force.
Because here's the thing. All right. So with the first Blu-ray release of the first season of Fire Force, a stage play was held of Fire Force. It's a reenactment of the first arc, I believe. And it is a stage play with the real life interpretations of the characters. And all of the Eighth Company is there in real life, meaning that Okubo very easily could get real life pictures of all the characters that were featured in that stage play, meaning that Okubo fucking planned this shit. The stage play is not just another example of weird Japanese people doing weird Japanese things, like having a stage play for no reason. Okubo had that for a reason, and it's very possible the stage play, either he had it happen or it just happened and he knew it would happen so that he can get the pictures he needs for this shit.
There's a very possible chance that Okubo looked at Fire Force and he said, "This is going to get people are going to read this.
You're
People
gonna read
are
this.
going
It's gonna
to
get
like
an
it."
anime adaptation by David Production.
anime
David
adaptation.
Production is going to invest into a stage play of this anime adaptation, and I will have the actors I need to take the pictures so that I can have the final arc have some this shit.
He knew the flow chart. He knew that it was like, this is going to get fairly popular. I know it's going to get an anime adaptation. And you know what it's probably going to do? Maybe within like 2 years, within its runtime, it'll probably end up getting a stage play. And that's where it'll kick in.
And that's
the
the key. And by that point, I'll be close enough to nearing the end as to where it will be convenient enough for me to take these pictures.
Yeah, and his editor's looking at him
And
like,
it will be just in time as to avoid the hitting of the coronavirus, as to where I could take the pictures without having the worries of having the people wear masks or not being able to contact them in the first place.
yeah.
What we're saying is that Ookubo knows.
Ookubo knows all.
Ookubo knows all. He's planned everything. This is all part of his master plan. Even this podcast right now is Okubo's plan for us to disseminate his propaganda into the world. He needs more people to be reading Fire Force because he's gonna reveal some shit that's gonna change the fucking world.
Okubo's gonna like imagine in like the final chapter of Fire Force, and then it's just Ookubo, like it's like stop motion and him on the manga. He's just like, "Hello, friends. I'm very glad you finished the end of Fire Force.
It's me, Astushi Ookubo.
Now, this is my announcement saying I will be taking over the world government as of now."
There is a secret cabal of shadowy figures all along. However, I have destroyed them, and now I am the new world king.
If you may have noticed in the recent postings, in the recent chapters of Fire Force, you may have noticed some things like real life people being there, or a image of real life Shibuya. Well, I'll have you know, that is not an image. That is not quite the image you think. I took that directly. From my view in the heavens above, I was capable of taking the perfect image I needed for the above view of Shibuya.
As I am God, I did not put a filter on this. I simply just changed the colors in the real world and took the picture when I needed it. And then changed it back and replaced the memories of people who thought they saw something.
No, they didn't.
The fucking one of like in the final chapter, it's a fucking image of a person, and it's you. It's you.
You're looking. It's like everyone's viewing. Everyone's perception of the manga is different. Thanks to Adala.
Oh shit, dude. Ookubo is the evangelist.
Ookubo is even. The Evangelist's gonna take off its hood and it's Atsushi Ookubo.
And the whole time it was him. And now he's coming for us.
No wonder he's gonna retire after Fire Force.
Oh yeah, no fucking wonder. Holy shit, this man.
It's very possible he's expended all of his brain cells for Fire Force.
He sacrificed them all.
Look at him.
Look at this motherfucker.
Gaze upon the new world order.
Gaze upon this man.
You know, I don't know if this is me being racist, but if these are like related, if like this is like his aunt or whatever, I can kind of see a resemblance.
Maybe.
They have like kind of similar noses.
Like
and
she is like an older Japanese woman. She's definitely like aunt aged.
Yeah. So if they are related, then I can see it.
I think that's just my funny brain saying it's possible this is like an editor maybe or someone who works at the publication.
Yeah, probably. But you know, if they are,
This is the weirdest shit.
it could just be like a fucking like.
It could just be some
like,
random
no,
lady.
Like no, you're just racist.
No, you're just no, we're just racist. It's fine. So yeah, this is what's happening now, I guess.
Yep. And now we await for the translation of chapter 255 to come out.
Now we wait for 255 to get a translation for us to read it and either be proven correct or wrong. This fucking
yeah, and then we will wait for chapter 256 and see just how much this changes as the story progresses.
This is definitely the craziest shit I've ever seen, for sure.
Yeah,
like the only time I've seen something like near this crazy is like the end of Evangelion, where it's just a fucking shot of the people watching the movie, just a panning shot of the theater.
It's just a shot of people watching End of Evangelion right there.
Yeah, but even then, in the End of Eva movie, the people there was not a plot important concept.
It was just weirdo imagery.
It was just fucking what's his name? Hideki Anno. It was just Hideki Anno being spiteful. This is something else. This is something else entirely.
the Virgin Hideki versus the Chad Atsushi.
So yeah. So not only does this imply that Ookubo did this stage play thing just so he can get pictures, but it could also mean that part of if the finale involves a lot of live action, it could mean that the final season of a Fire Force anime is gonna be a fucking strange live action anime hybrid combo.
That'd be fucking hilarious.
That'd be hilarious and amazing.
It'd be so how many people would be so put off by that?
Could you imagine the day on Twitter where the fucking episode comes out where live action bullshit's happening and everyone on Twitter is like, what the fuck? Why does my anime have real life people in it?
Why is this older Japanese woman smirking at me?
Why is this older Japanese woman talking directly at me and smirking evilly and maliciously?
With threatening intent. Why is this Japanese woman standing there and staring at me in a white void?
Fucking crazy shit.
Oh my god, I cannot fucking wait for this to get animated.
I cannot wait either. It's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be so
cause
awesome.
for sure, like even if like the third season isn't the final season, it will for sure get to like Shinra doing real life falling in the real life Shibuya thing.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
What?
Oh my god, dude. The last episode, like the last moment of the episode of the anime was Haume losing her mind because of the fucking voices and all that. and then she's like, she says it's coming near. She puts her head in the air, and then there's the image of the moon, and it flickers to the Ookubo moon.
Oh! Oh fuck! They're doing it.
It's a close in of the moon's eye looking directly at the camera.
Oh, the David Pro's doing it. They're fucking doing it. They gonna
David
do it.
Pro, they looked at the manga and said, "We're in."
Oh, we're fucking in. Fucking like the fucking David Production is like the main guy for fucking doing it, and he's fucking read the chapter. He's like, oh, I'm fucking in. Oh, I'm in.
Ookubo, you mind if I add? You mind if I add some? You mind if I add something? Put some stuff in there.
You mind if I do something right quick? You know, just referencing the.
Yeah, Ookubo's just like, go for it.
Go for it, bro.
You know what? Go for it. Just to keep them on their toes.
You just keep them on their toes.
I think we've gotten as far as we can.
Yeah, this is now going to be a weekly podcast where we'll talk about the most recent chapter.
Whenever the chapters come out.
We'll skip this week. Where 255 is coming out. We'll do 256.
I knew I was in for greatness whenever I first read.
You knew for sure.
I knew I was in for greatness.
I had no fucking humanly possible idea. I knew what I was getting into. 0%.
I knew I liked Astushi Ookubo from reading Fire Force from reading fucking Soul Eater all those years ago.
I had no idea what I was in for.
Now this is just a culmination. I got you into this mess, and we will see, and I will help you see it together.
We will see
it through. Whether the ending will be bad or not, I don't think it'll be bad.
Because I know he knows. I really hope it isn't. I'm thinking it won't be, just because like the publisher is letting him do all this crazy shit. That has to mean they're willing to just let him go absolutely hog wild.
Yeah, which means that there's something good's happening.
Something's good happening.
And also he's ended Soul Eater with a good ending.
Yeah.
So he is capable of doing it.
He's capable of doing it. He's mastered his craft over the years.
One final thing to say, Astushi Ookubo, a very, very, very powerful man.
He's incredibly powerful.
This will be his second and final manga he's finished. He has finished 2 mangas. That is more manga than most people can ever say.
He's created 4 mangas, ended 2. One of them was a spin-off.
Yeah, one of them was a spin-off, and the other was canceled.
And on all three except for the first one, B.ichi got an anime adaptation. This man knows what he's doing.
He knows the business.
He fucking knows.
All 3 has gotten an anime adaptation. All 3 are ended. All 3 have ended. And are going to end. Like, he knows what he's doing. Like, he has 1 manga done, which is more than what most people can say.
Yeah, it's more than most could say.
He's about to have 2 manga done.
He's about to.
Which has that even been done?
Yes, for sure. And that for sure has been done.
I've never heard of it.
Extremely rare. Yeah. It's so extremely rare that I can't think up of a name off the top of my head. But it's definitely happened. But like for like big like publishers like this, big mangaka like this, it's the first time I've seen it really.
Ookubo knows what he's doing.
Like this is the first time I've seen like a mangaka end their run not because they were forced to, like how Naruto's writer with Samurai 8 because they wasn't selling well. He's going all by his own volition. He's ending it.
Yeah, he could very easily keep going and do another one, but he doesn't want to.
Because he's not gonna, because the world's gonna end after Fire Force ends, because he's gonna reveal the universal truth.
Yeah, he's gonna retire, and it's gonna be revealed. It's gonna be revealed that his retirement date is fucking.
This is the end of the world.
Fucking Ishiyama, creator of Attack on Titan. You thought you planned your entire series from the very beginning? How about Astushi Ookubo, who planned his entire series from the beginning of a manga in 2002 from 2008 that he finished in 2012?
I bet I bet you didn't plan the conditions around your anime and manga coming out. I
Yeah,
swear.
I bet you didn't plan your anime getting getting a screenplay just so you can add that into your as a plot point into your manga. I'm sorry, Oda. I'm sorry, Goda, Eijiro
Sorry.
Goda. One Piece ain't got nothing on
One
the
Piece ain't got
foreshadowing like
nothing on
this.
this.
I love One Piece, but wow,
I fucking adore One Piece, but you ain't you ain't got nothing, Oda. You ain't got nothing.
the planning that has been gone through, the process that potentially has happened. Now, this is all fun in our heads. It is also pretty funny if we. I bet if we do look for like potential interviews that people had for Okubo, uh, for the thing, it could just very be possible that it was just like, oh yeah, it was just happening. It was just happening all of a sudden.
Yeah. Just it's like, oh, that's convenient, I guess.
That's convenient. I'll be sure to use this.
For
But
sure.
it's much more fun. It's much more fun to
It is
imagine
much more fun to imagine that he planned it all out.
that he knew that Fire Force was eventually going to get his stage play. So he gets to add that.
Yeah.
God, I'm so excited for fucking
I'm very excited. This is very exciting.
for live action anime within the episode of the anime.
I will make sure to tell you whenever season 3 is announced, just so we can fucking get hyped together, so that we can go
Yeah.
into all the comments for the trailers and fucking warn people about the crazy shit that's about to go down.
It's just like, guys.
guys, guys,
Guys.
guys! I hope you like
Guys.
J dramas.
Guys, did you like that? I was really curious. Did you like that stage play? Did you guys watch that
Hey
stage play?
guys,
Did you like that?
y'all watch that? It's required viewing. Did you know?
What? Required viewing? Yeah, don't you know it's important?
It's important.
It's just like what it. When they're watching, it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? This is just the first arc of Fire Force, and then you see the actor.
It's required metatextual knowledge, didn't you know?
Yeah, no, there's a very likely chance that if we got Disgust Lady in live action, it's very possible we get everyone in live action.
Because getting Disgust Lady would be easy. You just need to get some woman that looks vaguely like her. But he has access to all of the Eighth Company.
He has access to all the Eighth Company. He has access to Sho. He has access to Jaume. He does not have access to Inca. He might have access to Nataku.
Here's what I'm saying. Hear me out. Hear me out. Cosplayers, right? We're cosplayers, right?
Astushi Ookubo goes to your local convention and says, "Hey, come here. Come here.
It's me, Astushi Ookubo. I need.
Hey, I saw on Twitter that you cosplayed Iris, my character. Would you like to you mind if I take a couple pictures?"
I need you to pose weirdly, real quick.
Yeah, it's just like, no, not for any not for any like lewd purposes. I just want you to, just put your hand out like this.
Put your hand
and,
out like this.
And just walk around the hospital.
Oh my god, could you imagine that conversation? I need look, okay. I need you to pose like this, hold your hand out, alright? Do like do this do some action
Lift your leg up
poses.
like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
action poses. Alright, now walk around the hospital. Like start from all the way over there, just walk towards me.
Now take a picture for like every 2 steps you take.
Yeah. Oh my god, I want to be an editor. I want to be like a fly on the wall for like the fucking meeting Okubo had with his editors.
I wanna be Okubo's like shoelace. I wanna know what's happening there.
Some crazy shit for sure. I guarantee.
And Okubo's nipple hair, so I could fucking like, what is he saying?
What's going on?
Like, what's happening on that? What are you doing there? Yeah, I think
I think this is as far as we can go.
yeah, this is as far as we can go with this. Any last words we should say?
This has been the Podcastaclysm.
Podcastaclysm.
The podcast made entirely for the Cataclysm saga of Fire Force.
Mm-hmm.
We will not
Astushi
cover a
Ookubo.
single chapter before this. Only every chapter here forward.
Yep. Nope. This is. Oh, Ookubo.
You
We'll see
know,
just how far you
I
get.
have a better idea. This is not a Fire Force podcast. This is an Atsushi Ookubo podcast.
This is not This is not an Atsushi Ookubo podcast. This is an Atsushi Ookubo introspective.
Introspective documentary, if
This
you could say.
this is a character. This is a character analysis for Atsushi Ookubo.
Character analysis.
We're going to break down the thought process and the mind of what could potentially be Atsushi Ookubo, otherwise known as God of Manga,
Evangelist, you could say.
otherwise known as Evangelist,
We're
potential Astra.
we're going to clad ourselves in white and preach to the masses.
Here's a new white.
Henceforth, we shall be called the White Clad.
No, we're not the white clads. We're the white lads.
White lads. Hey. That's pretty good. All right, that's enough.
Ookubo is a madman.
Okubo's a fucking mad genius.